It's over. It's absolutely over. It's a wrap. It's an absolute wrap. I don't care. Oh, he has a good relationship with DeShaun. They got a good rapport together. Forget all that. Forget all that. Forget all that. It's over. It's a wrap. Nick Martin got to go. And when I mean got to go, he got to go right now. It's over. Ended. It's over. It's an absolute wrap. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football. Houston Texans football. The Houston Texans fall to the Indianapolis Colts. 26-20. There's a lot. There's a whole lot. When I mean a whole lot, it's a whole lot to unpack and talk about this game. Woo! This game right here. This game right here. Man. I don't even know where to begin it because there's so much shit to talk about. I really don't know where to begin it. The frustration level is up to here. When I mean it's up to here, it's up to absolutely here. Okay. We're going to talk about this. We're going to break this down. Let's talk about the numbers first. Because like I say, it's a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about the numbers first. And then we're going to see exactly where we fall when we get there. DeShaun Watson was 26 of 38 for completion percentage of 68.4. 341 yards, averaging 9 yards to attempt, no touchdowns, had one interception. We definitely gonna talk about that. Was sacked 5 times, and one of those was a safety for a quarterback rating of 85.5. David Johnson came back, had 10 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. DeShaun Watson ran the ball 7 times, had 38 yards and a touchdown. Kiki was targeted 9 times, 8 catches for a career high 141 yards. Henson. Was it Chad Henson? Chad Henson was targeted 7 times, 5 catches for 101 yards. Brandon Cooks, who left the game but ended up coming back, was targeted 8 times for 5 catches for 65 yards. Duke Johnson targeted 6 times, 6 catches for 24 yards. And then on the Indianapolis side of the ball, Phillip Rivers was 27 of 35 for a completion percentage of 77.1, had 285 yards. For averaging 8.1 yards per attempt, had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 3 times, had a quarterback rating of 119.3. Jonathan Taylor should be a Houston Texan, but we're gonna talk about that. Rushed the ball 13 times for 93 yards, and also T.Y. Hilton. The Texans killer. The guy who all of a sudden does nothing against anybody in the field. Go look it up. Does absolutely nothing. Comes in the NRG, plays against the Texans. Always has a good game. Was targeted 11 times, had 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr., the rookie, was targeted 5 times, had 5 catches for 46 yards. Jonathan Taylor was targeted 3 times for 3 catches for 44 yards. Alan Cox was targeted 5 times for 3 catches for 23 yards. Nakeem Hines was targeted 3 times for 3 catches for 22 yards. Okay, where do you want to begin? Let's talk about the defense for a quick second because the defense actually played well outside of the first couple drives in the first quarter is where the defense really was at its most disadvantage. So that's when the defense played the worst football. You see the T.Y. Hilton was able to score easily on a little sling, on a little crossing route. Like T.Y. Hilton was able to do T.Y. Hilton things against Phillip Gaines. But even after that, the Texans defense for the most part actually shut down the Colts. Like the Texans defense actually did their job, especially when it came nut cutting time, especially when it came crunch time. The Texans defense did what they had to do. This game is nowhere near on the defense. The defense actually did what they got the stops when they were supposed to. Stops on 4th down, stops on like I said, stops on 4th down. There was one time they stopped them on 3rd down, and then Jonathan Taylor was able to get was it a touchdown Jonathan Taylor had? I think it was a touchdown John Taylor had when John Taylor was able to just run out, and when nobody cover him, I think that was more so on what the boy name is Murray on Eric Murray. Eric Murray blown his assignment, and John Taylor was able to go running free and was able to score a touchdown. But outside that, and outside T.Y. Hilton playing like T.Y. Hilton against the Texans defense actually for the most part did their job. The story of the day is offensively, because a lot of stuff happened offensively that you complain about. A lot of stuff happened offensively that makes you mad, and a lot of stuff offensively encourages you. So let's talk about what encouraged you at first. Henson comes off the practice squad and gets over 100 yards. We had 200-yard receivers today. Kiki and Henson. Henson, who's on the practice squad, comes off the bench cold, gets 100 yards. Kiki, who's has been inactive damn near every game up until we start getting injuries and suspensions, and that forces Kiki to play, comes out here and gets 141 yards. Remember, his first career 100-yard game was against the Colts when he had 11 catches in that game, and then backdoor and did it again in the playoffs. So, against a team that, to be honest, the Texans, the Colts defense, DeShaun actually kind of struggles against the Colts defense. If you go look at the 5 previous games that DeShaun has played against them, 2 last year, 2 the year before, and also the playoff game, actually those be DeShaun's worst games. If you go look at it, they'd be part of DeShaun Watson's worst games. And to be honest, the way this game was starting off was like that. DeShaun Watson had the NFL record with leading the NFL with the most completions without throwing interceptions, like over 200 and something, like 280 something, if I'm not mistaken. And he leads the NFL in the least turnover-worthy plays, which means in the passes that not get intercepted, but you like, oh, that should have been an interception. Well, DeShaun had a lot of those today. It was 5 times in that first half DeShaun Watson should have had it picked. It was 5 times in that game that DeShaun Watson really should have had a pick in the first half, and he was really fortunate the Colts dropped some passes or the ball just didn't bounce their way. And I kind of credit that a little bit to, like I said, the Colts defense does a lot defensively. The course, I think with Matt Eagerflew, he does a lot. He does a lot in the scheme to kind of mask and kind of get DeShaun Watson a little bit flustered. He kind of doesn't know how to slide his protections a little bit. If you go back and look, like I said, if you go back and look at the previous games against the Colts, those normally be his struggle games. Even though I know last year, the Thursday night game, they won. I think that's more so of some blown coverages with blown coverages against Hop, and then them not able to handle Will Fuller, and he was able to get some good throws in that aspect. But overall, he really didn't play well in that game last year on that Thursday night football game last year either. And for the most part of this game, in the beginning, he was not playing well. Now, as the game got a little bit different, he made some plays, and we're gonna talk about exactly what he did towards the end of the game. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, but it was in the beginning of the game. He had some plays that should have been turnover worthy. He had some near misses that really should have been picks. But the one that they counted as a pick, let's call a spade. That wasn't no way, no damn pick on DeShaun Watson. If anything, that was a catch and a fumble by Brandon Cooks. Are you kidding me that you really credit DeShaun Watson? That's how DeShaun Watson interception streak ends. Off of that fluky ass interception. That wasn't no damn interception. Like, come on, let's be real. That was not no interception. If anything, that was a catch and a fumble by Brandon Cooks. That was not an interception by DeShaun Watson. Brandon Cooks catches the ball, rolls up like this, and then, oh no. Now the Colt player comes up with the ball. How's that an interception? Like, really? How? Explain to me. Somebody tell me. Explain to me in the comments if you can. If you really can. Because I watched the game, but maybe I'm missing something. If you could do a better job explaining that to me, please go ahead, do that. But in no way, shape, or form should that been credited as an interception to DeShaun Watson. That's why they should have receiver interceptions. If you're going to call those picks, you need to have receiver interceptions and quarterback interceptions. Because that is not an interception on DeShaun Watson. That was not a bad throw by DeShaun Watson. It wasn't even a pass that was tipped up. I could get it if a pass was tipped and was picked off. I give you that one. Like, that's more... that was not an interception when the receiver catches the football. The receiver catches the ball first, but then it's considered a pick. That don't make no sense to me. That don't even make cartoon sense. Like, come on, really? And that's how his streak ends. And to be honest, like I said, it felt like it was some fuckery going wrong because the commentators kept on saying it throughout the whole first half about how DeShaun Watson leads the NFL and the most passes thrown without throwing an interception and this and that and all this and this is great. This is all-time leading and this is he's not even in MVP conversation. This is some great stuff. How well he blah blah blah. It seems like the fix was in. It seemed like the NFL had a point to prove. The fix was in. Come on, man. We 4-7. Come on, man. I know DeShaun's been balling, has been playing great. Don't do that, man, like that. Like, seriously. And like I said, I think in the beginning of this game, this is one of DeShaun Watson's worst games because of those near passes that should have been picks. He should have had some interceptions. He very well should have an interception on today. But the one that y'all gave him was not an interception. If he didn't get an interception on the ones that were interception worthy, don't give him one on one that's not. And that's just being real. That was not an interception. So I hate that for him that his stat line ends like that. That's like I said, I even get the ones that were like, you know, when quarterbacks just throwing the pass just to try to make a play at the end of a game or end of a half. Those make more sense. That was not an interception. And for y'all to do that, man, like that was just wrong. Completely and utterly wrong. This is wrong, bro. That's just completely wrong. That was nowhere near an interception. And for y'all to do that, man, like that, that's just complete wrong. And I hate that for him. Don't do that. Don't do that, man, like that. Like, don't hurt that man's stat line like that. Like, it's bad enough the team season is the way it is. Don't hurt that man's stat line like that. Don't do that. Don't put more black marks on him than he already has because of the team record. Don't do that. But like I said, Kiki, I come out there like I mean, come on, Bill O'Brien, and not only Bill O'Brien, Tim Kelly and Rack. Why y'all wasn't playing this dude before? Like, come on. This whole rookies don't know anything or end up putting people in a doghouse. Like, come on, man. Like, you see what this guy's out here doing. Now, granted, he has DeShaun Watson as his quarterback, and I give you that. But you see how well he's playing. I understand it's the Colts. He normally does well against the Colts. But give somebody an opportunity. That's when people talk about, man, yeah, Kiki's just trash. Kiki's not trash. He just don't have an opportunity. Give him an opportunity, and you see what happens. I know I'm a Texas Tech guy. I get that. But just look, and see what happens. You put him out there, and you see the type of plays he makes. Let him play. Let him go out there. Let him get the experience. Let him grow. Let him get out there and get this experience. So, for DeShaun come out there, and like I said, I'm giving DeShaun a little bit grief because I said at the beginning of the game he played bad. But not having Will Fuller, losing Brandon Cooks in the middle of the game, not having Cobb, not having a lack of running game for you to come out there and with two basically no-name receivers go out there and get over 100 yards with both of them, shows you what type of quarterback you have. Him to go out there throwing for 340 yards, shows you what type of quarterback you have. You clearly have the guy, and basically you give him anything, it works. Mind you, also I think this game also tells you Fuller prices went back up. We talk about, oh, he got the PED suspension, yeah. Fuller price went right back up. Fuller price going. Will Fuller's sitting up there like, yeah, buddy, y'all needed me. Yeah, it is, because I believe if you have Will Fuller, the Texans win this game easy. Because the Colts defense don't have a matchup for him. If you have Will Fuller, the Texans win this game easy. And DeShaun Watson goes down there having a game-winning drive. He's putting together a game-winning drive. You're down by 6. He's out there driving beautifully. And Nick Martin. And I know a lot of people been talking about Nick Martin for the longest. And I've always backed up Nick Martin. Like, we know with him and DeShaun, they got a good rapport together. You know, that's kind of that, the center, you don't want to just change centers all willy-nilly like that, like, because the relationship that him and DeShaun Watson have, that's just something that you like. It's just like receiver and quarterback chemistry. The chemistry with a quarterback and the center, that's very vital. You got to think about that. That's very, very vital. I know it's just one mistake. And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself because I said the same thing about Kiki. But hey, he had the mistakes with the fumbles. You gotta let him work through that. This is different. Nick Martin does allow a lot of pressure coming up front as well. He does miss a lot of blocking assignments. But I tried to give him the benefit of that because of the relationship he has with DeShaun Watson. It's over. It's a wrap. It's an absolute wrap. It's over. He don't need to be your center. You don't have a mistake like that in that crucial ball. You were on the 5-yard line down by 6. All you need is a touchdown to win the game. You're driving. Actually, they might be inside there. Actually, they were inside the 5-yard line because Duke ran in. The Colts are about to give you a touchdown. To be honest, the Colts are about to give you a touchdown because they want to hurry up and get the ball back so they can try to kick a game-winning field goal. You do not have a mistake like that. You do not rush the snap and snap it that way. You don't do that type of shit, bro. You don't do that. Like, you literally cost Texans the game. I know it's a 60-minute game and things happen in the game, but bump all that. That play cost you the game. I don't care what nobody says. That play right there cost you the game. Not to mention, I forgot, I kind of skimmed over this. Tim Kelly, Romeo Crennel. Before halftime, the Texans got the ball back, drove down. It was 8 seconds left on 3rd down. You were inside the 10, I think, and you chose to kick a field goal going into half. I granted you didn't have any timeouts, but it was 8 seconds left. That's plenty enough time, especially with a veteran quarterback, to throw. Very enough time to try to attempt a play in the end zone. Now, I know it's Romeo Cornell's decision to go for it or not to go for it on third down to kick the field goal, but I blame Tim Kelly. And the reason why I blame Tim Kelly is because of the 2 previous plays before that. Back to what I was saying earlier about DeShaun Watson having a turnover-worthy plays. DeShaun had 2 near interceptions that should have been interceptions prior to that. Mostly because of the play selection that Tim Kelly was calling. So I understand where Rack was coming from. Like, hey, we down here. I'm gonna just take some points going to halftime. We're gonna go into halftime down 24-20, and we just gonna call it a day. Because they had a chance to tie it up at 24-24 going into halftime. He's like, no, I'm just go ahead, kick the field goal, only be down by 4 going to halftime. I'm gonna take these points. The reason why is because of how your quarterback was playing, and I blame that. I think DeShaun did have some mistakes. DeShaun Watson was not throwing the ball where he should have been. Well, DeShaun Watson's throwing the football, and you have to make smarter and better decisions. But back to what I was saying about the play calling, and this is the reason why when people say, "Oh, DeShaun's been balling with Tim Kelly," I have no problem with keeping Tim Kelly the offensive coordinator. This is the reason why I don't want a defensive-minded head coach, because if you bring in a defensive-minded head coach, there's a chance that Tim Kelly can stay. I don't want Tim Kelly to stay because this philosophy for this offense is all jacked up. Why, in that situation, when you right there, you have DeShaun Watson. I understand we don't have Hopkins. I understand we don't have no big red zone target. What happened to Darren Fells? Didn't I tell y'all last year that Darren Fells was money when you use RPOs, and then once you stop using RPOs, Darren Fells became non-existent? Where was Darren Fells at today? Why you didn't run the RPOs with Darren Fells? Like, I really didn't. Did Darren Fells even play? I know he was active, but did he actually play? Because I don't remember seeing him. He might have been out there, but I really don't see him. Oh, and that's another thing. Speaking of seeing things, AT&T, DirecTV, get y'all shit together. Seriously, get y'all shit together. I had to go through all different type of stuff to try to find the Delta game because y'all don't want to, because y'all and CBS got some type of thing going on. Get your shit together. I should start the video off like that. Get your shit together, AT&T and DirecTV. Get y'all shit together. Come on now. You can't be my bill. Y'all better be getting reimbursed because I'm missing my Texans. So y'all better get y'all shit together real quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But back to what I was saying, you have to use you have to use, like I say, the RPO situation in that type of situation. You have DeShaun Watson, like RPO, able to get Darren Fells on a mismatch, or have DeShaun Watson like he did early in the game, run in for a touchdown. Things like that. Why wasn't these things being done? Like, and so when you get to that 8-second mark, like he's like, man, my quarterback did almost 2 picks. I don't want to risk him throwing another pick or throwing a pick in this situation. I'm gonna go ahead and take the field goal and get the points. When the Texans could have tied up the game back then at 27. I mean at 24. The Texans could have tied the game up at 24. Back then going into halftime, and the game is being played completely different throughout the rest of the second half if it's a 24-24 game. But because you didn't even take a shot, because 8 seconds is plenty enough time, especially where they were at on the field. 8 seconds was plenty enough time to try to take a shot in the end zone. And if it's not, you have to read that quick. If it's not there, you throw it directly in the end zone because you ain't got no timeouts. If it's not there, throw that bitch deep into the stands. So we have 1 second left on the play clock, and we can kick the field goal and go in halftime. I have no problem with that. But because of the play selections first that happened prior, Rack was like, hey, I'm not taking no chances. I'm not taking no risks. This is what I'm doing. So I blame that on both Tim Kelly and DeShaun, but most on Tim Kelly because at the end of the day, you're the ones calling the plays, and you should call better play selections. Previously, before that, you probably wouldn't even got into that situation. Like I said, David Johnson's able to run the ball a little bit better today. Now, this run defense for the Colts, they looked bad last week against Derrick Henry, but they didn't have DeForest Buckner then. But all in all, man, this game was a very, 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 very winnable game. I told you I wasn't high on the Colts. I wasn't buying that stock about the Colts. I wasn't, and the Colts basically got this game throughout the grin of their teeth, like the heads of their chin. They barely escaped away with this one. against a team that had no no DeAndre Hopkins because he's traded, had no Will Fuller because he's suspended. Brandon Cooks left the game in the middle of the game because he had an issue. Brandon Cobb is not there. This run defense is one of the worst run defenses in the field. No Bradley Roby to cover on the outside, and you only really won. You won the game by 6 points, and you won because at the end of the game on the final drive, the center botched the snap. Seriously. I know, I understand we have DeShaun Watson. At the end of the day, we would still come into this game of 4-17. And the Texans got, I'm not gonna say got robbed with a loss. They didn't get robbed because they did it to themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. If I'm not mistaken, I think that fumble also gets credited to DeShaun Watson too. So because I think fumble snaps get credited to the quarterback too, which is another just stupid thing like that. Just another stupid thing. I mean, and actually David Johnson kind of blocked DeShaun Watson from getting the football, but I'm not going to crush David Johnson because David Johnson probably didn't know the ball was. David Johnson was running the play like the play is supposed to be run. He didn't know that the quarterback didn't come up with the ball. So I don't know, like it was very frustrating. Like you were nerved up. It showed you that last drive showed you like, hey man, my quarterback is money. He about to go down the game winning drive type situation. Like he's third in the NFL with the third most game winning drives. He has 11 since he's been starting since 2018, something like that. 11 game winning drives, third most in the NFL. So you like, okay, he's about to add to another one. And you have this situation. It's different if it was just a bad play, like if it was DeShaun gets sacked on 4th down, or a receiver drops a pass, just normal football situations happen. But for it to be a botch snap like that makes it even more frustrating, especially when it's a guy who's not above average player. He's not an above average player. He's not. He's an average player. Like at the end of the day, Nick Morton is an average player, and you can't afford to make bad decisions like that and mishaps like that in crucial game situations when you're just a average player. So, that officially ends the Texans' hopes of the playoffs. There was a chance the Texans could have snuck in at 9-7. There's actually a chance if some things broke right, the Texans could have been placed as the 7th seed. Of course, nothing would be official, but you would see the Texans, like if the playoffs would be like they would have the playoff bracket posted up, they would have the Texans in at the 7th seed at 7-7 if things would have broke right. But that's not gonna happen either. So we really are turning the page to 2021, and I know you hear some reports about certain coaches and certain general managers and all this stuff is speculation. We'll see when that time comes, but it's just frustrating. It's completely frustrating. Which, to be honest, I'm being honest with you. Being frustrated is actually a good thing because it means that you were engaged in the game. Because a lot of people mentally check out, like once you 0-4 or 1-6, a lot of people check out, okay, this season's over and done. I'm watching something else. I'm doing something else. So for you to be this deep in the season with that bad of a record and you still upset when stuff happens, you still mad, the juices are still flowing, that you still upset, you're like, damn, man. That means you're still engaged. It means the Texans still have your attention. So on that standpoint, that is a positive. But all in all, like you gotta do better. You gotta do better. And the game was right there for them. The game was right there. This was a very, very, very winnable game. And this is going to be just when we look back at the season. You're going to look at the Titans game when you had to win. You're going to look back at the Cleveland game when this is a 3-0 game, pretty much the whole game. And you're going to look back at this game like, damn, if you give me 2 of those 3, let alone all 3, we a playoff team. If you give me 2 of those 3, we in the playoffs. If you give me all 3, shit, we might have won the division. That's how close. That's extremely how close this could have been. But that's 2020 for you. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.